Okay. So, we're back in the You Feel Me podcast. Okay. We're just going in this casually. We're trying to act like we're not like nervous. But
definitely a bit nervous.
I say maybe just try hold the mic closer because I'm just scared that it's not gonna
it's not gonna
pick it up.
Cool.
Okay. So, I'm here today with my first ever guest. And it's the beautiful Kamila. So we're in my garden at the moment and the sun was just like beaming on us, but
yeah, we were sweating.
It's gone in a bit now, which is nice. We kind of moved it about so we weren't like dying, but yeah, I'm really grateful to have you here because I feel like I don't know, we talk all the time. We voice note all the time. it's insane how much we voice note.
We send each other like half an hour voice notes all the time.
I never thought I could meet someone who voice notes as much as I do.
It's bad. Like, voice notes are like 10 minutes each.
Literally.
One term voice note.
I think what's the longest we probably sent to each other?
I think I've done like 15 before in one, and then I've sent you like a bunch of others as well.
Yeah, because we send lots. We reply to each one individually.
ADHD girlies.
Yeah, but it's great because there's no judgment there. It's like we can be like that with each other. I love it.
That.
But yeah, so this is Kamila.
Nice to meet you.
And what's your socials again? You're aligned with Kamila?
Yeah, aligned with Kamila on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's a Kamila with a K and one
with a
L.
K.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know, we've like recently connected in the last few months.
Yeah.
Obviously we knew each other like, was it from our exes or I don't
kind
even
of
know.
It was just, I think we just met each other at like social events and like raves and stuff like that.
I think we met at a rave.
Yeah.
Because like my ex like knew your friends.
Yeah,
and stuff,
something like
and,
that. And we spoke very briefly, like yeah.
And that was it. And then like years down the line, we were just like, I feel like we need to connect. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm so glad we are.
Our spirituality definitely brought us together.
For real. I want to burn some of this.
Yeah, definitely. Cleanse some energy.
Yeah, so we're very into the same things. I feel like the more we talk, the more we're like, fucking hell, we are just the same. Like,
definitely. I feel like in the last couple of weeks, we've bonded over so many of the same things, like so many of the same wounds and so many of the same opinions.
I think we'd be rich if we had a pound for every time we're like, oh my god.
Yeah, literally.
It resonates so deeply.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
And I've said before, like I feel like we've either met each other in a different lifetime or we signed a soul contract to meet or whatever, but we both felt the same, like in terms of our spirituality, we're definitely on the same like wavelength.
Yeah.
And it's so nice because I don't have anyone else that I resonate with as much as I do when it comes to spirituality and everything. And we're very much like, we get each other, you know?
I love this because I just feel like for both of us, it's like it's as profound for each other because it's like to finally have like a friendship and a connection where you feel heard for the parts of you that you actually love. I'm like, we needed this. I love it. Like,
it's definitely
so happy for us.
Yeah, 100%. I think the amounts of times that we say that we're grateful for each other, like in our voice notes, it's insane.
I literally love it. I was thinking, okay, so I want to, obviously I just burnt I tried to start burning some, what is this called again?
Sage.
No, this is Salo.
Oh yeah, no, it's
I don't know. I can't remember how you say it.
Oh,
I literally.
I just called them sage sticks.
It's a sage stick, bro. It's a sage stick. But I wanna ask you if you just to pick one that you want to burn, and we'll burn some incense as well.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been eyeing this box up.
The chakra box.
Yes, definitely.
There's different ones in there.
Oh wow. Okay.
But not. I think I ran out of the sacral chakra.
That's fine. Let me see. Let me put this down.
Yeah. Put it down.
Ooh. Okay, this one. Yes.
Throat chakra. Oh yes, I love it. I love the smell of this one as well.
I feel like this one really resonates right now.
There we go. If you want to burn it, because I want to set the tone for today, you know. We want to set the tone. And I've also got some cacao that Kamila brought me, which I'm fucking excited about. This like ceremonial grade. And I've had cacao before. I've even had ceremonial grade, but like, I don't know, I just feel like, I don't know, you just put a lot in, and I was like, oh, that's how much you're meant to have. I don't think I've been doing that. Like,
Cacao hits different sometimes, so I want to know what.
Okay.
Where do you want me to stick this? How do I?
Oh, there is a hole in either end there.
Okay. Oh, I'm so excited.
How banging does it smell?
You've got to tell me what you think of the cacao.
Okay, I'm gonna have a sip. You ready?
It can be very bitter, so. Is it sweet?
That is banging.
Okay. Yay.
I'm gonna do this all the time now.
Yeah, it's amazing. I do it every day.
Because I think it's with the blender that's like made
Frothy,
it bang.
beautiful.
That the texture is banging.
I used to whisk it. Like when I first started doing it, I used to whisk it in the pan.
Do you want to try?
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Banging. I love cacao.
Stop it.
Just wait for it to open your heart.
Yeah, we're about to open our hearts, everyone. We are.
It's so good.
We've got like a little notepad as well to take notes, because we were thinking like, if it's anything like when we just talk over voice note, we literally
gets crazy.
We forget what we want to say.
Oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen multiple times through this.
We do forget what we want to say. But here we are. We're just going with it. So I don't know where to start really. I feel like maybe the best place to start, I just want to know like what your journey with kind of, I hate to use the word spiritual, but you know what I mean, like just where it began, or like a point in your life where you felt like awakened in a way.
Beautiful question. So my spiritual journey began probably about 5-6 years ago. It was about 2020, and I was very much stuck into 3D before my spiritual awakening. And for people that maybe don't understand what you mean by 3D, okay,
what would you say?
How can I describe what the 3D is? So very much, I think it was just kind of the opposite of spirituality. Everything's matter. You know, it's very like logical. It's very masculine. It's very like, this is the way it is, and the world is the way it is, and it's very much like, oh, we're the only people in the universe, and there's nothing outside of it. And it's very like, it's not very magical. It's kind of the opposite. It's very structure set, and that's what I would say the 3D is. It's very like,
it's like maybe like the way we were like being conditioned.
Yeah, conditioning
to be
matrix.
In the matrix.
In the matrix. That's how I describe it. It's just very much in the matrix. And like very much like life is happening to me, and I have no control over it.
Yeah, it's almost like you're like robot mode. Like you're just doing things, like you're in like default mode, but you're not even aware or present within your life. You're just doing things because it's like that's how you've always done them, but you're not even like aware. For sure.
And I think it's like just letting your subconscious mind run the day, you know, because I mean our subconscious mind controls 95% of our day-to-day behaviors and habits anyway. And the longer that you go unconscious for, then the longer you begin to be just a program. But that's how I kind of would say, like, I was very much stuck in the 3D, and I didn't even realize it. I didn't think there was, I believed for myself that I was an atheist. I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in anything outside of this. I thought we're here and then we die and that's it. And actually that got me in a lot of situations that were pretty toxic. And I mean friendships, I mean relationships, and myself, you know. I was very toxic with myself, the way I spoke to myself, the way I saw myself, drinking, smoking, drugs, the whole shebang, situationships, like really toxic relationships and everything. And actually what brought me to my awakening was I moved out of uni in 2020, went back home, and was actually alone for the first time in 3 years. I mean, I was alone before then, but I really like to be surrounded by people all the time. I never like to spend time on my own. I actually run away from being alone. And this time it was like the first proper time that I actually got to be with myself. You know, I moved back to uni, and like some of my friends were still at uni. I didn't have really many connections around me or anything, and it was just me, myself and I. And that's where it really began, because I actually was in this place where, okay, I can be alone now with my thoughts. And it began by, funnily enough, it was TikTok, because something just came across my For You page, and it was just this like really spiritually awake woman who was talking about all this, like she was talking about spirit guides, she was talking about past lives, and like it just really interested me. I don't know what it was.
Do you feel like you'd been interested in that before that at all?
I feel like I had magic in me when I was a child.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like we all do, though.
I thought I was an airbender. I'm not joking. I genuinely thought
an airbender?
like I could control wind. Like
I think we can. And I think as children we're just more connected to that like creative, imaginative, like manifestation
magic
realm, like
just magic.
But then it's like, actually people think you just get older and like clever and like, oh, that's all nonsense. Actually, I just think you get more dense and you get more in structures, and then everything becomes more about this matter and this physical, like we said, like. So I think we all are kind of connected when we're young, aren't we?
For sure. I feel like all of that stuff gets suppressed because everyone's like, well, that's not logic. That's not how it works.
Yeah, because magic this world runs on trying
to
take you out of that.
And it's been running this way for such a long time, you know, that people are just repeating everything. And it's been working for the ones that created it so well up until this point where obviously we're experiencing this huge mass awakening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely feel like I had magic as a child, and over time that spark was lost. I mean, I moved to England when I was 8 or 9 years old.
You were born in
Poland, yeah. And I had a huge spark back then. Like I was a very confident kid, and then moved to England and the spark went. You know, I was in a different country.
How old were you?
I was 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
I was in a different country, didn't know a word of English.
Wow.
I was very much like, you know, everyone was kind of staring at me, and I just wanted to blend in, to fit in. And then that's where like the survival patterns kicked in, because I just wanted to blend. I wanted to be like the other kids. I didn't want to stand out.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that stayed with me up until this point where now I healed it, and I'm like, actually, it's okay to be special. Like, I'm fine with being special.
Yeah.
And it's actually something that my inner child and myself was missing for a really long time. It's like feeling special and feeling different. But yeah, I kind of regained that part of myself now, being in my healing journey. But going back to like how it really all began is that, you know, I saw the things that resonated with the woman, and then I started practicing it more. I started learning about the law of attraction. I started understanding like, okay, well, actually, what is my soul? Like, what is that? And, you know, it's been a really long journey since then. But even like if you was to look at my journals, like my journals went from being really toxic, being stuck in like self-hatred, like really dark place, really dark place, to like my journals start changing to being focused on the positive, being focused on like, okay, hold on a minute, like actually there's things that led me to this point. Actually, like all the toxic things that I experienced happened for a reason. And I think slowly but surely now I'm in this space where, you know, I would consider myself very spiritual. I currently have crystals in my bra. Just saying, like I'm very spiritual. Like I integrate spirituality in anything that I do. Like it's a huge part of my business. It's a huge part of me. But it's just like the word sometimes gets to me because I just know how much people hear that word, and it's like such a buzzword, and it's like spiritual, and it's like it's got a taint. To me, it's just like it's almost like I've told you I'm learning a lot about Bhakti yoga at the moment, and it's like the word spiritual almost feels the same as religion now, but in different ways. But really the origin of both of them just means like realization of self. Exactly. It's like there's nothing exterior about it. I think everyone thinks like, oh, it means you have to be doing certain things within your life, but it's nothing about anything outside of you. It's like inside of you, all to do with you. It's just the journey you go on inside. Exactly. And it's like with religions, there's always an aspect of like worshipping something that's outside of yourself. It's an aspect of like worshipping a god and doing everything so that you are, you know, you've got you're accepted by a god or something like that, whereas spirituality is a lot more like, how do I accept myself? Because in spirituality, it's, I don't want to say you worship yourself, but like you are God, you know, you are an extension of God, you are a part of God. Like we've all come from the same place. Like we are such powerful human beings. Like even though we're humans and that's what we're experiencing right now, we hold so much power. Yeah, you know,
it's taking your power back. Whatever you think that God or that source is, it's like, whatever this is, none of us can say for sure, but we're all having different unique experiences. And I think it's so mad that like there are so many different religions, and within those different religions and different spiritualities, everyone is like convinced that theirs is right or whatever, and that's okay. If that works for them, that works for them. But it's like, it's only because of what you felt within yourself and the connection you've had to whatever your example of God or source is, that you've got to that point.
That's right.
So it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter what your name for it is. I just think it's about going on that journey and accepting, like, oh my God, there's more than this in there. Do you know what I mean? There's more than this.
For sure.
Like, what the fuck is this, man? I just get so blown away by it all.
For sure. I think it's like really realizing the power that you have, because I think for so long humans have been conditioned to think like we're so powerless. Like you go and work, you know, you get stuck in a certain job, you do a job that you hate, and it's like it is the way it is, and it's actually like, hold on a minute, I can have anything that I desire, really, but like the only way that's stopping you from having what you want is yourself. It's the beliefs that you have, it's the frequency that you hold.
But don't get me wrong, like, it's hard because of the world we live in.
Definitely.
It is hard.
I mean, yeah, it's such a, it is very, like, the world is designed in a way to keep you playing small and to keep you doubting yourself. And it's like, the journey is hard and it's an up and down journey. And I think it's kind of like, not a fight, but it's somewhat of a battle between matter and light, you know, and you fluctuate on the journey. It's so normal to fluctuate, in one moment be feeling super connected and the next moment be having a superhuman emotion come through and feeling the opposite. And I think the whole point of it is to understand what's going on internally and just moving through it as much as you can without too much attachment to whatever that you're going through.
Don't you feel like that's kind of the ironic thing about the way spirituality is portrayed sometimes, is that it's like you have to be this like this like, oh, nothing affects me, I'm always calm, I'm always like this, blah blah blah, I do all these things, and it's like, actually no, like, you're a fucking human at the end of the day. You're living within a human vessel, like, you're living a material experience, so like, do as much as you can to balance and do your work to like elevate the consciousness of what we're in, but like you're here to work through that. You're not here to, like, if you try to do that anyway, you're just gonna suffer because it's not real. Like
100%. And I think,
you know what I mean?
I think it's the spiritual ego that kicks in as well, and it's like this perception of like, I have to be this high vibe human, I have to get all these things right, and actually no, like, spirituality, a huge part of it is being fucking angry, being sad, being resentful, feeling the feels, like being in the dirt with all of your feelings, and actually always coming back to wholeness and always coming back to yourself. I think that's what spirituality is. It's not about being high vibe, it's not about, you know, like being perfect and everything. It's far from it. It's actually the opposite. It's being able to take yourself to those dark places, being able to express and feel. And like, the other part of it is like, you're a human, you've come here to be a human, you've come here to experience the breadth of emotions, the good, the bad, and in between. That's what your soul came here to do, not just the positive. Like, your soul feels positive emotions all the time, feeling that, not even emotions, but feeling that high vibrational bliss. It's actually about having the negatives and evolving that consciousness and really tapping back into yourself and your whole truth.
It's literally like the balancing act of it all. I feel like we're never gonna be, and it doesn't end. Like, the work's never over.
The work is never over.
You don't go to a yoga class and then you're like, literally, I'm free. Like,
I'm healed.
And then I understand, like, some people kind of get really caught up in the shadow as well. Like, I think I did. I've got really like caught up in like the darkness and the shadow of things, because then that's like a way I relate to people. But then again, the spiritual journey for me is being like, oh well, how can I now like work through that, like I'm actually keeping myself in a place of suffering now.
Yeah, it's very easy to get stuck into or like pulled into the negative side of things, because I feel like a lot of people suffer, and a lot of people don't know how to pull them through the suffering, and they just, that's what I'm saying, like they keep themselves in this, like it is the way it is, like I'm just sad. They take on this identity of like I am sad, or I am like, or whatever like the identity is, and it's easier to relate to people about your pain, and it's, but the longer that you keep yourself stuck there, the more of it you create.
It's really about realizing how much you're controlling, and you are actually controlling everything. I find it's just awareness, it's just consciousness, and you have to have a certain amount of awareness to like even observe these things, otherwise you will just feel like they're happening to you. You have to like bring yourself out of it, and what I've found is like that's something you actually have to strengthen. That's like a skill you have to train. Because I was finding myself like getting so angry at myself because I kept showing a lack of awareness, and it's like I really wanted to try and be better, and I'm like, why am I just doing all these things? I'm doing everything. I'm going to my yoga classes, I'm meditating, I'm doing breath work, I'm journaling, I'm doing all this, and I still fuck up. And it's like so maybe the lesson there is compassion.
It's like it's like, okay to fuck up. Do you know what I mean? That is like think about it, like if you've been on the journey for 20 plus years or something of the same stuff, the same thought patterns, like of course it's going to take you a long time to kind of acknowledge the patterns that you're going through, but at the end of the day you are still acknowledging, wherever they're in the moment, whether they're outside of the moment, you're still acknowledging it. And it's like you have to start somewhere. So acknowledging them outside of the moment that you're having them is actually really important, and is actually the starting place. Like we can acknowledge them in the moment, down the line, you know, when that's more like, when that way of thinking and whatever is more integrated into your being. But it's a journey, and it's never going to be linear, it's never going to be perfect. And I think like you can do so much healing work, you can do so much whatever, but like triggers are still going to come up, whether you've healed that specific thing or not. I like to say new level, new devil. It's going to come up in a different way, either to test you or whatever it needs to do. But like the triggers will always show up, and I think the most important thing we can do as humans is learning how to regulate yourself in those in those times of like tension and like sadness and whatever, and just allowing your body to relax, and then allowing yourself to process and take the lessons that you need out of that, you know.
I feel like it's probably the same for everyone, isn't it? Like that, like to some level, what's causing them the suffering is not being able to regulate themselves and their nervous system. That's what's causing them to suffer. And I feel like genuinely, like I keep using the word genuinely.
That's okay.
In my last podcast, I was like genuinely.
I use actually quite a lot.
So no, but I feel like that's like the silver lining that I had when obviously I recovered, was like wait, what was your point again?
I don't know. Wait,
the nervous system.
Oh, the nervous system. Yeah.
I feel like I knew that was going to happen. Like with our nervous systems, like having compassion for yourself, having that option there of being like, it doesn't matter, like it's okay to get it wrong, just try and like nurture this part of yourself that has compassion, because I can do it for other people, why am I not doing it internally? It's all happening so subconsciously and so automatically, and like it's gonna take time to like start becoming aware of it and like becoming more in control. Like Eckhart Tolle, is that how you say the last name? I watched a talk of his once, and he talked about kind of like any kind of reaction, and how like, okay, so you take someone who's really angry and something happens, they react instantly. There's no space between what happened and the reaction. But with awareness, as time goes on, that space gets wider and wider, and it's true. Right. And that's like what you said about it being a muscle, like it is. But that does take time. So I feel like I've been doing that. I feel like we're both doing that. A lot of us are doing that. But what I find hard is like, how do you tell someone that who's just like, has never even experienced that feeling of like being aware of the present, like how do you bring someone to that?
I think it's like you begin with the body, because I think like a lot of people not ignore the body, but like as children, not many of us were taught nervous system regulation, and not many of us were taught like that emotions are just, they're like such a human part of us, and they're meant to happen. Like we're meant to experience all these emotions, and as children, like we just jump straight into either self-blame or there's something wrong with me and or whatever. And I think the very starting point of like recognition is understanding what's happening in your body, and when you experience a trigger, understanding like, okay, what part of my body has flagged up, like what emotions am I feeling, and then understanding like why did that happen, and then understanding the trigger. So I think that's like when you begin, because then when you understand the trigger, you're like, okay, well, this person said this about me and made me feel this way, and my nervous system reacted like this, so next time I can be more aware of it when these triggers come up. And I think it's like, we talked about this before, but like sometimes it's important to know the root cause and sometimes it's not. And it's like the awareness comes from understanding yourself and your own patterns, especially when you haven't really done the work. If you haven't done the work, then the process of understanding your patterns and why you behave in a specific way is you tracing back to like to your childhood. It's you tracing back and understanding those patterns, because our patterns, our environment, everything that's happened to us makes us up, and it creates an identity for us that we go by. But that identity doesn't mean that it's truly us. It could be it's a survival or coping mechanism, or it's like an identity that you created to survive the world and to survive the environment that you're in. And it's like understanding your survival identity is how you can actually understand what's going on and why you react the way you react, and you can actually trace everything back and change it. You know, if you wanted to react in a calmer way, then you've got to understand everything that's happening internally. I think that's the starting point.
I think it's the only point you can go from, because realistically you can try so much to control what's happening externally of you, but you can't. There is nothing you can control but yourself. So you can try, but you're just it's gonna cause a lot of suffering.
You're walking into suffering if you're trying to control your environment rather than just controlling how you feel about the environment. That's the only thing that you can actually have control over, is your internal state. And actually, the more peaceful you can be in your internal, the more your external will change, because that's just the laws of the universe. That's what it is. And it's like, it's hard to digest to people, because like we've never been taught this stuff. Like we go to school, get taught random shit that like we never use, and
that's all about the external.
It's all about the external, and it's like genuine shit you would never use.
But you don't get taught how to regulate your emotions, which is the one thing you're going to be with and you're going to have to deal with your whole life. You don't get taught any of the things that like are going to affect like you in your present daily life. Like it's crazy, but then at the same time it's just like, it makes sense. Like,
for sure,
they want us.
I feel exactly, that's exactly, I feel like people are way easier to control when they're in fear, when they don't understand themselves, when they think that this is just the way I am and there's nothing that I can do about changing it, and they obviously use different coping mechanisms to get their anger out, to get their frustration out, to, you know, like I did very much when I was younger, and I didn't know how to control my emotions, or like not even control, but I didn't know how to understand my emotions. I ran away from my emotions. Loads of people numb their emotions too. Like it's just, they don't want to feel emotions because they think, oh, that's dangerous. Like it's not okay to feel. And if I feel, like, then I am, you know, I am anger, I am sadness. Like, do you know what I mean? That's like, how you become anxious, depressed, like whatever, you know.
But we all like, it's when we feel these things, this is like about the space being between what you're feeling and like your reaction and everything. It's like you attach yourself to them things, you think that is you, and it's again having compassion, like, oh no, that is not me, I'm just experiencing that because that's what humans do experience. It's okay to experience literally any emotion, because it's come through for a reason, isn't it?
For sure.
Like,
it's a teacher at the end of the day.
But then it's like, oh, it's the part of you that observes. It's the part of you that observes it. Like, suddenly, as soon as you're observing it, you're not it, because you're
Exactly.
observing it, so you're
Exactly.
suddenly not that in that emotion. Like,
You're not so attached to the
Yeah.
emotion. For sure, it's like we're all going to experience triggers, like, do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
when you're observing it, and like you said, when you can have that compassion towards it,
yeah,
because it's also like whenever we experience triggers, it's a part of us that flags up, that is like begging for us to be seen or heard. It's whether it's your inner child, whether it's whatever it is, it's a part of us that, you know, feels a specific way about herself, himself, and is trying to be seen. And the quicker that you can actually see that version of yourself, when you have that trigger come up again, you're like, oh wait, I know exactly where this is coming from, and what I need to do is give myself compassion, or what I need to do is this, what I need to do is that. It's like you literally learn to parent and reparent yourself and nurture yourself in those moments.
yeah,
And that's how you create the space between the trigger and the emotion, so that you can regulate, feel the emotion, understand what's going on internally, and be like, okay, I choose love. I choose to take care of myself rather than spiral, right?
You've definitely helped me with that a lot. Like, since we've been like talking, like, you definitely have, because I feel like, I mean, it just goes to show how important like relationships are. They are everything, because when you have a good like support system around you, it will genuinely keep you alive. Like,
No, definitely.
because sometimes if you get too wrapped up in your own thoughts and shit, like, you can start to
Spiral.
believe that like these thoughts, these beliefs that are really detrimental, like, and really damaging. And I feel like, I don't know, it's having like someone be like, no, it's okay to feel that, like, it's
Definitely.
okay, like. But yeah, I don't know, because there's obviously been times where we haven't had like that support from other people.
Definitely.
Then it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think your environment is so important, because again, like, your environment shapes you. It, you know, like, I think that it's like 40% of your habits come from your environment. And it's like
Is it? I didn't know
yeah,
that.
it's crazy. Like, your environment is so important. When we talk about environment, I'm talking
Damn, that
about
explains a lot, man.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's also it's a subconscious stimuli as well. Like, you witness something outside in your environment that triggers something in your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind communicates in like visual images, you know. So it's a trigger, like, environment triggers a habit or triggers a pattern or whatever. But it's also made up of people, places, and things. And when we surround ourselves with the wrong people, the wrong crowd, we quite literally become not the worst version of ourselves, but a version of ourselves that isn't truly us. And that's definitely happened to me
And where we're not thriving, we're not enjoying it. Like,
no, it's like, and then it's like all of a sudden you feed off of this like negative energy, and that's where like the identity of like the sad girl, or like the you know, whatever the identity is, that's where it comes from. And you almost get a satisfaction from it, because there's always something that you're taking out from whatever you're experiencing, even when it's negative. It might be attention, it might be whatever, you know. But
also, it's about realizing that, like, sorry to cut you off.
No.
I don't want us to forget our points. But no, I was going to say, like, even like these different emotions, these different things we're feeling, there kind of really is no negative and positive. I understand, like, that's what as humans we've like to label, like, oh, the things that feel a bit lower frequency and vibrational, like, we view them as negative because they don't feel as good. But at the same time, and for positive, we're like, oh, that's positive because it feels good. Like, that's just our way of like labeling things, the language we've used for it. But really, everything is just it's a
neutral
spectrum of like different
it's literally
frequencies.
neutral. And it's also like, we're the ones that put the lens on it. Like, things are the way they are. That doesn't mean that they're negative, it doesn't mean that they're positive. They're literally just the way that they are, and we're the ones who put the label on it, because as humans, we love boxes, we love labels. We like understanding things and whatever. And everything is neutral. Even if you're experiencing, like, let's talk about, like, if you're experiencing a so-called negative emotion, the emotion, for example, anger, isn't actually negative, because that specific emotion is a teacher. Yes. It feels crazy in your system. It literally takes over your entire being, but it's like, well, that's showing you something then, isn't it? It's quite literally teaching you that there's a part of you that really is screaming to be seen.
But then what happens when a kid gets angry and they're told like don't get angry, or a kid cries and they're like, don't cry. Then you're getting taught to suppress your emotions.
That's exactly it. Which is what we all did. I think like now, I think now there's a lot more people that are like gentle parenting their children and allowing their feelings to be listened to and whatever. But like a lot of us were, especially like Gen Z, millennials, whatever, and all the other ones too. But like we were all brought up to kind of suppress our emotions. You know, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of us were, and like crying is bad. When you're angry, you should just stop. Like stop being angry.
Because like we said, all those things that are a bit lower vibrational,
they get rejected.
I guess, they're like, resist them. Like resist them because they're not good. But it's like, but that's not really like releasing them.
No, and all emotions want to do is just be felt. Like they just want to be seen and heard and felt, and then they pass. Even like when you experience, like next time you experience an emotion, sit with it. Quite literally, whatever you're experiencing, just sit with it and watch it rise and fall. Like emotions are a wave, like they just need to be felt. And
if you sometimes when you're doing that's a great practice of just having awareness, because you're like, oh my god, I'm with myself right now, this is uncomfortable, this is weird.
But it's also
I'm
like
experiencing the emotion. Like,
it's good to feel uncomfortable. This is something that we said to each other in the voice notes as well. But like, you're never gonna find your best self in comfort. Like she's always outside. She is always in your most uncomfortable place, because like she pushes the boundaries. Do you know what I mean? She gets uncomfortable to make that her new norm. Like feeling uncomfortable, it depends on the situation, of course, but like being uncomfortable with your emotions, like it passes. Like everything else, like sadness passes, all these emotions pass, discomfort passes. But like I think it's just so important to understand like what's going on internally, and instead of spiraling into so-called negative ways of coping, just sitting with it and actually asking yourself, like, how can I make myself better in this scenario? What can I do to fulfill? Because the thing is, well, like when triggers come up, like one of your needs just isn't being met, and what you need to do is meet that need.
You need to be your own friend.
Exactly.
Like we are for each other. Like
exactly.
Sometimes we forget that, because when we were voice noting the other day, it was like, like, bro, it's so easy to say this to each other, but why didn't we just say this for ourselves in the time?
Exactly.
But it's like, why do you think we don't? Why do you think that there is a part of the mind that doesn't?
I think it's because we let our emotions take over our entire beings, and it's like that those emotions are so like they take over your entire nervous system, and it triggers, like you feel the emotions, and then the emotions triggers the thoughts, and then it's a loop, you know? Thoughts, emotions, and then you create more thoughts, more emotions. Joe Dispenza talks about this a little bit, but I think we have never been taught how to break the loop of thoughts and emotions, and we take on like labels about ourselves when we experience negative emotions. So it's a hard loop to break, but we break it with awareness, and I think it's trial and error, and I think it's like, and again, I think it's something we're meant to experience too, you know, because it's like those dark moments, I'm sorry, but they're huge teachers. Do you know what I mean? Like the all the negative shit that I've experienced in my life has taught me so much. Like I would not be this person that I am now if I didn't experience the negative emotions, or not negative emotions, but the experiences.
No, I've always said I'd never take anything back.
Neither.
Anything. Even like I've always said this, like my dad passing. Like, I've said that, like from it happening, I've said, like, even if you were to say, oh, could you bring him back? Like, yes, I would love to see him, but as I don't know if that's morbid or horrible to say, like, and I don't know, like maybe if it's harder to say with different people. Like I was close to my dad, and I was like, I don't know, like it was painful, but maybe my perception of him at the time was a little bit different, and I was younger, so maybe
you was younger
different.
for sure.
But like I've always felt like I'm almost grateful to his soul for passing and having that time, because of how much that event taught me
Yeah.
and has molded me into who I'm meant to be.
For sure.
Because like it gives you a bit of depth. It gives you
100%.
understanding. It gives you experience of life. And like if I didn't have that, like that wouldn't be my story.
100%.
It's the same with everything.
I think it's like everything has there's purpose to everything, and everything happens because it needs to happen. It's divinely timed.
Mm-hmm.
And I also believe that there's a certain part of you that also chooses the specific experiences,
Yes.
not the path, but specific experiences that you want to experience, because there's different lessons that you take out of there, right? And I'm sure that you've taken 101 different lessons from your dad passing, and it's obviously shaped you into who you are now.
Yeah. I don't know. Can I just say, first of all, this is fucking so good. Like, it's at the really frothy bit. The cacao. Oh my god.
It's hitting different.
So good. No, yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I just, with it's hard because I've always, like with my dad passing, I've always felt like when it happened, I genuinely didn't compute it. Like I've always said, it wasn't a conscious decision, but kids just get on with shit. Like,
yeah, for sure.
the thing is, you're always so scared of how someone or yourself is going to react in life, but when you do it, you just get on with it.
Exactly.
Because the coping mechanisms come in and your brain has to just deal with it. You can't, and even if dealing with it is like freezing or fight
whatever,
or flight,
yeah,
or just
you're still
forgetting
doing it.
about it, distracting yourself, whatever it is, it will find a way. And I think, I don't know, like obviously my dad was ill and then he passed away, so I knew it was going to happen, but because I was young, my brain didn't really compute properly what that meant.
For sure.
Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but it just gets on with it, doesn't it?
100%. I think like your brain has very funny ways when it comes to protecting yourself, and you were a child when that happened to you, and your brain had to protect you from that, because sometimes the trauma that happens in our lives is a lot to handle, and your brain will do everything, whether that's disassociating, whether that's numbing, whether that is going into different coping mechanisms. Like, you will find a way to cope, you'll find a way to get on with it. And it's like, that was a lot for little you to process, and it's like a blessing for you to be able to process and feel that for her now, you know.
Yeah, but it's weird, like I can't explain, like it feels like when people like feel sorry or just like, oh, that must be hard, I'm like, it kind of wasn't. Does that sound, I don't know, like it wasn't. And I feel like that comes from a place of like, because that's all I knew in that point, like, and that's all any of us knew, like we just had to deal with it and get on with it. So I'm not saying it wasn't hard, but I don't know. Like, I've cried, but I've cried because that's life, innit?
Yeah, for
life
sure.
Life is going to be really hard. I don't know, but then I say that, but then it's like, I'm fucking terrified of losing other people.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I think, that energy didn't come out at that time.
No.
And then it came through years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that. So, like, I resonate, because for me, I didn't really have both of my parents growing up, because my biological dad wasn't in the picture
ever.
He was at the beginning, but he really wasn't a nice man.
No.
Like, really wasn't a nice man.
So your parents weren't together?
Like, they were, but he was very toxic
Yeah.
and like abusive in all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
And my mum left to come to England when I was about 4 years old.
Yeah.
And
so she left him?
Yeah, well, he left.
Oh, he
just took off. He left, and she was left alone, kind of to deal with everything. And then she came to England and left me with my grandparents, and worked in England and did all the things. And
wait, were your grandparents already in England?
No, they were in Poland. So
they all came over?
No, just me, my mum, and my stepdad came.
Oh.
Well, my mum, she's been here for years. Like, I think she's been here for like over 20 years now, like 25 maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I just joined her and my stepdad when I was about 8 or 9 years old. But again, like,
so so you stayed with your grandparents. She came over here without you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then I stayed in Poland. And I was going to say, like, I resonate because at that point in time, like, of course I missed my mum and I didn't really have a dad, but like I also didn't process it, like, because when people say to me, oh, that must have been really hard, and it's like, well, I just dealt with it, like I didn't like it almost didn't touch me, because it's like, it's just something that I knew. But now going back, like, even though I still don't really feel the sadness for not having that, like, I can understand and I can connect to my inner child and like let her express what she needed to express, because she just wanted her mum and dad. She just wanted to be, you know, she just wanted that structure. And I'm so grateful for my grandparents, because they provided me with that structure. But it was still like I wanted my mum. And don't get me wrong,
but you didn't
I cried.
Know that you wanted, maybe sometimes, I don't know, maybe you did, but like, as in, there's less awareness as a child to understand what you're feeling, so you don't really contemplate and sit there and think, why am I feeling like this? You just have it, but it's in the background, but it's still there. So like, it's for you to think about now when you're older and you look back and you're like, oh, like,
like when you're young, like, you're literally learning what emotions are from the get-go, and you get brought up in different environments and whatever. And for me, it was just a case of like a bit of like disassociation from it, to be honest. And it's just, it was the way it was. Like, I spoke to my mum on the phone now and again. Like, she called me, she sent me loads of toys, like, do you know what I mean? And I saw her now and again, and it just was the way it was, you know. And
but I'm sure you definitely still felt it in it.
For sure. Like, I just wasn't aware that I did.
I can remember all the time, I feel like I've told you this before, I'm not sure, but like all the time growing up, feeling like a blockage there, like
in your throat,
like feeling like I wanted to cry, but always smiling through it, always just smiling, like this
coping
really
mechanism
cry. And I felt like, you know, when you feel that lump in your throat, like as a kid, and I thought every kid just has that, but I guess now I'm like, no, I think I was really just suppressed. I was so scared to just cry.
That's what I was about to say. You was just afraid of expressing your emotions, because that felt like out of control. Like, what happens when I let out all my emotions? Like, it doesn't feel good. Do you know what I mean? To a kid, that's scary, especially if you didn't.
And I had supportive family as well. Like, they were like, oh, you can tell us, Charlie. But I'd be like, I'm just like,
you just couldn't express, you know?
I think, not know how.
But again, that's like a lot to handle for a little child as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can tell us, and then you're like, but I don't understand it myself. I don't know what I'm experiencing. I just, you know, you get like, you have a lump in your throat or whatever, but it's just like, it just is exactly. And like, you think, oh well, all the other kids are probably feeling that too, and it's
that's
like
one thing you think when you're experiencing growing up. You think everyone's having the same experience as you, and it's just not the case.
No, exactly. And it's just like your inner child, your childhood self was just like, I'm fine. Everything's okay.
Because I don't know if I told you, I went to a funeral a few weeks ago. Did I tell you?
No.
It's basically my mum's goddaughter. Like, we're not religious, but like we just like, her goddaughter is her best friend's daughter, and that's her best friend is my godmother. Does that make sense? They're each other's godmums, basically.
That's cute.
And but she's a lot older than me, because my mum had me a bit later. So so my mum's goddaughter, my mum's best friend's daughter, passed away like a few weeks ago. She had like a brain tumour, and she'd been dealing with that for a long time, and she has a 9-year-old daughter, and like, this little girl is just the most beautiful, happy little girl. And we went to the funeral, and everyone, like, she makes clothes in India, basically. She married this Indian man, and like, they both have this clothing company. It's so beautiful. And for the funeral, everyone was wearing all these beautiful like Indian made clothes, and it was just so colourful and gorgeous. And her daughter was there, like, greeting everyone.
Oh, bless her.
And she was so happy, and so like had such a smile on her face. And I think her school friends were there. She had like one of the teachers from their school was like there to support as well. And like, it was this natural burial. It was beautiful. And I just remember sitting like at the ceremony bit and just looking at the door, and I tried like to not let myself look too much, because I was just trying not to cry, because I was just like, this is such a beautiful like send off right now. But I just think I can connect so deeply with how that little girl's feeling right now, because I know exactly how it feels to think. I was just thinking, like, that's her mum in that casket. Like, how do you sit there and, like, do you know what I mean? How is she feeling in that moment?
100%.
But then I know how she's feeling, because I had that with my dad. Like,
smiling through the pain.
Smile through it.
Smiling through the pain, and it's not like you don't know how to process that.
Yeah,
as a
but
young
she's
child,
just getting on with it.
That's what I mean. She doesn't know how to process it, and it's like actually later on it hits you like a bus.
Yeah,
because you never process those emotions as a child, because it's almost too much, or you don't have someone who can really actually understand you that deeply, or someone who's able to like almost pull those things out of you in such a safe way that it just feels natural for you to connect the dots. And it's like the children that age aren't meant to connect the dots. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just meant to feel safe.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's sometimes expressing. It's hard for children to express how they feel.
And that's why I guess, like, yeah, because it's not the ideal thing to fucking lose a parent when you're a kid. Like, that's not the like best ideal way of having a childhood and growing up and like going through life. But at the same time, that's almost like goes back to what we were saying before of like, I guess this is why we do choose this path, because that is going to have an impact on her life, and I'm sure it will give her an insight that is going to help her feel and do things that is going to help other people, and it's going to, do you know what I mean?
There's a purpose for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And then the story in the grand scheme of things.
That's what I mean. Like I very much so believe in like soul contracts, and it's like people are meant to pass and leave, and that it happens in divine timing, and it's like there's a specific purpose for the child, especially if it's a parent. Like there's a specific thing, but like at the same time I very much deeply believe that like the soul, like the person that passes, like they don't disappear. They're still here, they're just in a different form. And it's like you'll still meet that soul. You'll still be able to you can still connect to them as a human. Do you know what I mean? Like you can still do that. You just need to be really open and receptive to it and whatnot. But it's like I believe that when it's a parent that passes, or when it's like a family member, I believe they turn into like a guide for you, like and you know, someone that shows you the way, and someone who you genuinely can connect with.
Because do you know what it's like you've experienced their energy, and it's like when you're not with someone, like say when you go later, I can still like imagine your energy. I still feel your energy. So what am I feeling there in that moment? If I'm able to feel it within myself, but you're not there, then I'm feeling something. So
that's what I mean.
That's what lasts. That's what, like, you're gonna feel that even if they're not here in the physical, like
they're still here.
Yeah,
they're still here energetically. They're still here. I like to say that obviously energy can't be created nor destroyed. It just is. It just is. And that being that frequency, because we're all frequency, vibration, like that soul, that frequency is it never truly goes.
This is what is making me think about like the science of things now. Like when we learn about like Joe Dispenza, this is why I loved it, because we both you've read his book as well, too.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through it. Supernatural.
I finished it, but I think I need to read it over again. Yeah, because sometimes it's
very
like
technical at times.
Yeah, because for people that don't know, his Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. Yeah, it kind of bridges the spirituality and mystic world with science. Yeah, because it's kind of crazy to me that like scientists or people that are into this kind of the scientific facts and logical things don't actually go back and ask enough questions to think, but how, why, like, because there has to come to a point where there is a certain level of mysticism to everything, because
definitely
none of this makes sense. You're only like, when you're talking about physics and like gravity and like all this, like it's all shit you've just learned in a book that's been written by someone, but like how much can you prove, how much can you say? Like I don't know, like that's why when you learn about this shit there is an actual scientific answer, like for them people that want an answer,
literally for like the logical thinkers who need proof. Quantum physics is your proof. I think quantum physics is literally spirituality explained by science. And I think like Joe Dispenza's work is like I absolutely love him because he is a scientist, you know, but he's also someone who studies quantum physics, and someone who's able to who literally helps people heal themselves from paralysis, blindness, like who
Yes.
understands energy to like a different degree and really like has lived and breathed through this work, because his journey began by his own problems in the body. And that's the thing, it's like we're prescribed all of these medical medicine, like all of this whatever, and actually it's like energy is the thing that heals. It's you have to clear the density in and around your body,
but all the conditioning that's happened that make people think that like, oh, that's just some like woo woo shit, like that's some spiritual guy just like in a hall going, everyone do this, like gonna start levitating all this shit. It's like no, but actually like that is real. Like,
it literally is.
Like I don't know,
I find it wild that people like believe in like Wi-Fi and they believe in like gravity and all these things, but it's like, well, you don't believe in like frequency and vibration. Like you're made up of frequency and vibration. You're made up of everything in this world is made up of atoms, and atoms are 99.99999% just empty space, and they just vibrate. You're literally a vibration, and it's like, how do you believe in the unseen?
You are made up of these atoms. You can control that space.
Exactly.
That's how you manifest. That's how you change things.
And this is why I love Joe Dispenza's work, because like he quite literally explains everything, explains all the atoms, explains how things work, and explains how like observing what you want collapses time and collapses particles in real time and literally brings them into reality. And it's so like, if I could share one person with the entire world, for me personally it would be Joe Dispenza, because he literally bridges the gap between like spirituality and science. He's like, okay, you don't believe in spirituality, whatever that means for you, energy, whatever, well, here's the proof. Like this, literally, here's the proof.
For anyone that needs that, because I get it. Like we are living within this human brain, and there are people that are like, no, I need to see it to believe, or I need to. That's
no
fine.
problem.
But I would say you're always going to get to a point where you come to a crossroads of like, there are just some things that you are going to have to trust that you can't see, and that's what faith is. Like that's what like. Do you know what I mean? It's like the unknown. There is always going to be a level of that. And when you go deep into spirituality, it makes sense that there is that paradox, and that is things that you can't explain, because this is unexplainable. This is like fucking, do you know what I mean? So it makes sense. There's always going to be them paradoxes.
I think it's so important. Trust and detachment. Trust and detachment.
Oh, yeah.
With trust, it's like like a lot of these things aren't explainable, because like we have human brains, like our human brain can only comprehend a certain amount of things, and then like, to be honest, like years and years and years in the future will be completely changed, I think, because it's like with the whole spiritual awakening, like people will be able to understand more, and there's going to be so much more crazy shit that happens. But like right now we have our human brains, and there's only a specific amount that we can comprehend. But it's like trust is so important, because it's like you kind of do have to believe in the unseen, right? Whether you want to connect to a future, whether you want to manifest a partner, like whatever it is, like trust and knowing that it's already yours is the most important part of it. And like if you're ever doubting, again coming back to quantum physics, like quantum reality, in the quantum field everything exists, literally everything exists, everything. So actually it's not about manifesting something for yourself, it's actually just connecting to the version of you who already has it, and just bringing that reality closer to yourself by believing that it's already yours, and actually just stepping into the identity of whoever has that. You know, going from someone who, you know, the identity of someone who doesn't have something. Say if you're trying to manifest money, your vibrations and lack, like I don't have this, my physical reality reflects this. And by the way, ignore your physical reality, because it's kind of like a print of the past, it's a blueprint of the past, you know. But if you're trying to connect to a version of yourself that has money and has wealth, then it's like you've got to believe that you've got it right now, you know, despite everything that's happening. You've got to believe that.
And that doesn't come from focusing on what you don't want and what you have right now that you want to get rid of. And
exactly, it comes from just trust, and it comes from like, I have it, I believe, like I'm capable, I'm wealthy, like because you are, like, you're born whole, you've always been whole. You're, you know, like you just get conditioned into thinking that you're not enough, or there's something wrong with you, or whatever. And that's like, actually, that's just like generational patterns, your own programming. Like that's all this stuff that gets passed down to you. And it's like, strip your layers away, strip that negativity, see what's underneath it, and connect to that positivity, connect to yourself, to connect to your heart. Like heart always knows the way. Like whenever you're in doubt, listen to your heart, tune into your heart knows the way, you know.
I will say it's so hard sometimes, like, because I'm just thinking, like, I get what you're saying now, but there's been times where I've like in the past where I've heard people talk about like just manifesting and feeling it now, and it's so hard.
Yeah, of course.
When you don't feel it.
It's 100%. It's like, it's a muscle that you have to stretch, and like, you know, like you're not going to be, this is where people kind of not go wrong, but like with manifestation, meditation, like all these things, it's like you try it a couple times and you're like, well, I just don't feel it. And it's like, well, of course you're not going to feel it. Like if you, I don't know, if you, like who has ever been chucked into a pool and known how to swim? Like, do you know what I mean?
I love analogies.
Yeah, I know. It just paints the picture. But like, you have to learn. You have to put in the time and practice. And it's like, you've got to also remember that like you've gone an X amount of time of numbing yourself and not feeling emotions. Like, of course it's going to be hard for you to connect to an emotion that you haven't felt in a really long time. You have to practice feeling the emotion, and you have to allow your body to come up with the emotion and how it feels in your body, how your body reacts. Like, it's just a process.
How committed are you to yourself?
Exactly. Like if you want it that bad, prove it. Show, like, how bad do you want it? Do you want to be wealthy? Okay.
Internally, that's like an internal contract you have to make with yourself. Like every time you start doubting yourself, that doubt is going against the thing that you want then. So you've got to be like, no, don't listen to that doubt.
Exactly.
I'm going to overcome it. Like, even if I don't really feel it, like, I'm just going to...
The trust.
Yeah.
That's where the trust comes in.
It takes practice.
And it's honestly just a muscle that you have to flex.
You have to keep bouncing back.
Exactly.
That's what I always say, like, bounce back.
And this is what connects us back to like spirituality is messy. Like this journey's fucking messy. Like it's not like all woo woo and like dancing in the moonlight and like, do you know what I mean? It's fucking messy. And you're not going to feel like, not every meditation is going to be perfect. Not every time you're going to be able to connect to your future, but it's like, you just have to learn and you have to memorize it. And it's like, the more that you practice, the more you memorize and lock into that frequency and vibration, the more you can click your fingers. And do you know what I mean? It just depends, how committed are you to the journey? And I think like consistency is a huge part of being the devotion. Consistency, it's so important.
It's
because
so true.
I don't know if you felt this, but like sometimes when like you've been out of like your spiritual practices and all of that stuff, it's like harder for you to connect. And like I don't know about anyone else, but like I almost become more lazy with it, and I'm just like, oh, you know, I know meditation makes me feel good and I feel fucking brilliant and I, you know, open up all these fucking worlds and shit, but like
still a thing I've got to do.
Like, it's, do you know what I mean? It's like when you haven't done it for a while and it's just like you just can't be asked sometimes. And it's like, that's why devotion is so important, because like it's devotion, you know. And like the more devoted you are, the easier it is for you to tap into all these things, and easier for you to just connect back to you. I think it all comes back to connecting to wholeness and connecting to ease and connecting to flow. That's another thing. It's like, it's meant to be easy sometimes. Do you know what I mean? You're meant to allow it to be easy sometimes. And yes, like that's why the detachment piece comes. Like, yes, it might not be the perfect scenario, but it's like, let it just be easy, let it work itself out. Like, do you know what I mean? Just be detached. It is what it is, and trust that you can go through it. That's another portion. It's like trust in yourself that you can deal with anything that comes up. Trust in yourself that everything's working out for your best and highest good. Just trust and detach and be at ease and flow and be happy and connect to your joy and passion and all of that stuff.
And you can literally always get to this point and think like, well, you're here now, you've got through every fucking thing so far, so like just it's hard, man. Life is fucking hard, but then it's things like this that are just so fucking beautiful, because we just have to help each other through it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's another part of it. It's like, we, as humanity, we have to learn to help each other, because we're just living in a world where like actually there's so much separation, whereas quite ironic, because we're all one. no matter what race, gender, whatever, like we are all one. You know,
I feel like we're on our individual missions to like realize the things that we have to overcome within ourselves, but at the end of the day we help each other do that. It's through each other's experiences and our relationships. That's like the training ground. That's how we like strengthen it. That's the gym, like
for
to
sure,
strengthen those muscles.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to have these connections around you that help and uplift you, and choosing the right friends that are like sticking with you through thick and thin, and reminding you where the light is, and reminding you what you've been through, and how amazing you're doing, how you're always trying hard, because sometimes it's hard to get lost. I mean, I've said this to you, like, earth shit is hard, like it's just hard, like it is. And it's like, but you have so much power to be able to go through it, like you have the capability, and it's just flowing through it as much as you possibly can, even when it is hard, and just coming back to wholeness, coming back to loving yourself and compassion and all of that stuff. That's the journey.
What would you say for like people that don't have anyone in their life like that?
So I think when you don't have anyone in your life like that, I think it's also potentially like a reflection of how you feel about yourself internally, if you feel disconnected from yourself. Because I believe that the world is a mirror, and when you don't have a specific someone that you can
just blow my mind a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't know you were gonna say that, and that just makes so much sense.
It's like when it's when you don't have that person in your life that's like your support system, it's like, well, you don't have that within yourself too, you know? So it's, I think your first step is being your own support system, and then the world will reflect back another person that's here for you as well. Because you just attract it,
because you're resonating at that frequency anyway, so you're just going to attract like-minded people.
You just become you just become the identity of someone who has that support system, you know? So it's about really anchoring into yourself and clearing your shit and understanding yourself a lot more, and then being able to attract, because like attracts like. And I think that's why obviously like we've attracted each other as well, because we really resonate, and it's like we had to meet ourselves to a certain degree and be there for ourselves.
I didn't just attract, because I feel like I've met a lot of more like-minded people recently, and like I didn't just do that from manifesting it because I just wanted it for myself. It's actually more the work that I've done on myself, so that naturally I've kind of just like come to a space where like, it's like what we were saying the other day, we're actually at a place where we're able to hold that. Like we weren't ready to like have that, like, or appreciate it, or like within our life, whereas now we can I just like, I'm getting excited because the things I've been thinking recently, I've been thinking them, and the doubts aren't there as much. Like
I love
I'm
that.
Like, that means I know that I'm more ready to hold it and receive it.
For
like,
sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so excited for that.
No, for sure. No, I think so too. I think also like the most important lesson is that you have got to be able to hold yourself down, like to some form of degree, because when you don't, you kind of source things from other people, whether that's your sense of protection, happiness, joy, whatever. And it's like sometimes you have to be alone, because that's your lesson. You have got to be alone to learn how to fend for yourself, and learn how to be your own support system, and like how to get your own happiness out of yourself rather than using other people. Sometimes you have to be alone. I think the spiritual journey, I think for a lot of people, starts off with being alone. It started off with being alone for me. I came back from uni, I was alone, and I was like, okay, it's time to deal with my thoughts, you know?
And you have to just be so honest with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be honest.
You can't lie to yourself, because then,
No, you can't. Yeah, you've got, and that's the thing. A lot of people like want to be honest with themselves, but aren't, because of their own shit. And it's like when you admit to something, then you've got to unpack. And then it's a lot, you know? But honesty to yourself, so fucking important. Otherwise you're just spinning a different narrative, you know, that isn't true, and it just gets you away from the point. And again, the shit takes time. And
only you know that.
Exactly.
Only you can do that work. Like no one else can do that, because no one else is in your mind. They can't like suss that out for you.
And that's another thing, like, you know yourself best. Even when you don't, you do. Even when you don't, you really do. And it's like, you can speak to other people and ask for advice, but like your nervous system, knows the way. What you have to do is just clear the density that tells you otherwise and tells you different stories.
Yeah.
Clear that identity that is like so self-protected, and like it's there for a reason. Like, do you know what I mean? Like your ego, everything, all these things, it's like it's there to protect you. But it's like learning how to truly be you, who the real you is. I think that's such a journey.
That, like, I know we don't have lots of time left, but just quickly to talk about the ego. How long you got?
Oh shit.
What's the time?
It's 1:20. Fuck. Oh shit. 1 sec.
Fucking hell. Camilla's got
I've got a kid.
She's got a little boy and she's got to go and pick him up. I'm so sorry. Let me hold this while you text. But I was just going to talk about the ego and how like a lot of people think of that as like a negative thing, but really we can work with the ego. The ego is not something that we need to like try and remove. We have it for a reason. It's part of us for a reason, and we bounce off of it. Like, it teaches us like a lot, and there's like an element of it that is healthy. We need it because it's like what's the word, duality. You know, there's the self and then the realization of the self, and we have that to try and
Sorry, I'm back.
No, I'm just leaving it. You need to go.
We'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go get my little one to sleep.
Oh,
Got 2-year-old.
so much. I know, we need to do this again because there's so much. I'm literally so happy though with this.
Yes,
like,
I love this. This is
we
so
was
good.
a little bit nervous about what we're like, because we feel like when we put a camera in front of us, we do suddenly like
tense up. It's like, do you know what I mean? Someone's watching you. But this has felt really chill.
Natural.
Like, it felt like a really good conversation. It just felt really natural. I don't know why I was freaking out.
I
so
knew
much
we'd
before.
be good with this because we bounce off each other a lot.
Yeah. And we have a lot to talk about, let's be honest. Let's look at our voice note. It's honestly.
Sometimes I have conversations with people and I'm just like, I actually don't know what to say.
Yeah, I know.
I think I'm just having the conversations with the wrong people.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's like different vibration, different resonance. Like, you're not gonna have the best connections with lots of different people because they don't resonate.
Yeah.
And I don't think like you're meant to have like a fuck ton of friends or so, like close friends. I mean that might just be my opinion or whatnot, but like I think it's only like a handful of people that are like the real ones, you know, and that's fine.
Because if we're all very different and unique, why would we be able to connect so deeply with everyone? Like, that wouldn't make sense.
No,
we're all
exactly.
at different points. And,
exactly. And sometimes it's more difficult to speak to the people, but just because we're just on different wavelengths, and that's okay. Like, it's fine to be on different wavelengths, you know. It's been so good.
And the incense is literally burnt, so we know we've been speaking for a long time.
I don't even know how long. 111. Of course. Of course. I saw
people
444.
rolling their eyes like,
yeah. I
bitches.
saw 444 twice on my way here, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah. I've been seeing angel numbers everywhere. Love it.
Okay, well.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Adios.
Bye.